Let's go for a walk on heartbreak. I had a dream last night of an ex-partner 20 years ago. And perhaps it came up because I was asked a question recently, like, what got you into this work? Meaning the work of inner work, meditation, self-inquiry, trigger inquiry, emotional release, all of these profound, life-changing tools and processes. I'm like, heartbreak. I was gifted like a Romeo and Juliet situation when I was 15. I think even in Romeo and Juliet, they were quite young. And what I mean by that is that connection that, as we all know in the end, takes their life. Because it's a love that a person wouldn't dare to grieve. A person won't survive. We all intrinsically know this. You may have noticed for yourself there's this capacity to limit the degree of connection or openness to love, to that reciprocity, because I won't be able to bear the loss of that. I'm not even sure how I'd possibly live if something was to happen. And at a young age, it's very likely to happen. And that's exactly what did. The relationship ended after 5.5 years, from 15 to 21 and a half, something like that. And it was destructive for me. I didn't know how to end this love in a way that was conscious, in a way that it just seemed impossible. I was still young and wanting to explore, and in one sense I was ready for it, in another sense I wasn't. And that tore me in half. And the hole it left, and we can relate to this, right? That empty space where the dream has fallen apart, and there's just this world that seems so strange and obscure and not at home. It's tragic, traumatic, right? I couldn't fulfill it with anything. I couldn't, distractions, propping myself up, friends, nothing, other lovers, and nothing could replace this hole inside. And, well, nothing out there, right? And so it drove me intuitively in towards myself. It drove me to things I wouldn't have been open to before. And one of those was meditation. I was gifted, again, a teacher. It's like they say around being ready. When there's a readiness, the teacher will come. And I was ready. And I absorbed to the depths of my being what this teacher, Lama Chodek Rinpoche, who was actually apparently friends with the Dalai Lama when they were younger, he was running this course. And because I was in such pain, I was so sincere about the practice of coming home to myself. I would do this on my own. I had no one to talk to about this. No one was interested in my world about meditation or anything like that. But I was already so alone. So yeah, I found what was beyond a love that I didn't realize was there to bring me home. because this love that I had with this person felt like home. And that home was torn from me. You may be able to relate to this, you may not. We all have different reasons why we're drawn into ourselves. Oftentimes it's when a dream, when wants and desires cannot be met. And there's nothing that can satisfy this deep yearning for fulfillment, for completeness, for something. And if you've had enough life experience, you come to realize nothing out there is ever going to do it. Because everything out there, relationships, careers, purpose, what we think we value today, it changes. And we know this. And it's become really clear to me that the capacity to receive life and embrace it fully comes down to the degree of peace, stability, intrinsic fulfillment that has been discovered. Because if that hasn't been discovered, the intuitive knowing that everything out there changes restricts the capacity to receive, because there's this sense I won't be able to survive the loss. I won't be able to handle when that moment happens, and it will happen. And then there's a tendency there to live superficially. And it's an innocent thing to do because it's a protection. So I'm not sure how this happened for me. Somehow I was open. I wasn't really all that conscious. And it tore me into myself. It supported me to discover what cannot be removed, what is unchanging. It showed me actually that the love that I thought was out there was actually myself. That's where the healing started to happen. I realized I hadn't lost anything. Nothing true can be lost. Yes, there was the loss of that person, and that is going to be grieved. There's no way out of that grief. In fact, that grief is the medicine. Yeah, I felt very inspired just having this dream of this being in my, that's been so critical as a part of everything that I do. I feel like this is an honoring to her, and yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. You may be able to relate in your own life, or you may be opening yourself to a love you wouldn't dare to grieve. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.